MIME is a client-based encryption mechanism. Using certificates, MIME is used to sign and encrypt messages between senders. Digitally signing a message allows the recipient of the message to be sure that the person sending the message is who they say they are and that the content of the message is accurate. Additionally, the digitally signed message contains a public key of the sender, which the recipient can then use to send encrypted messages to the original sender. The following examples illustrate how we can use both the Outlook and iOS mail clients to send secure messages between recipients. When you purchase your certificate, in order to use it with Outlook, it needs to be installed in the current user's personal certificate store. The type of certificate is an X509 used specifically for email. One of the common mechanisms to install a certificate into your personal store is to use a link directly from one of the certificate providers. If you open up Internet Explorer and you go to the Internet options, from the Content tab you should see a Certificates button, and in there it should show you any certificates you have installed and ready to go for Outlook communication. Sometimes a certificate provider will provide access to a certificate directly. If this is the case, you won't see it in the Content section of Internet Explorer. To import it, go to the Content tab of Internet Options, open up the Certificates button, and import it directly. From here, just follow the prompts for the Certificate Import Wizard. Feel free to set any options, such as private key exportability, that you deem appropriate. Additionally, you'll be required to input the password you used when you created or exported this private key initially. Once the import is successful, you should be able to assign your certificate to Outlook directly. Head into the Outlook settings and go to the Trust Center. Select Trust Center settings and then Email Security. From here, you'll find the encrypted email settings where you can see what signing certificate you're using as well as the encryption certificate you're using. Once verified, make sure that you click OK to ensure that your settings have taken place. Now your certificate's installed and ready to be used by Outlook. The first thing that we want to do in this instance is to publish our certificate to the global address list. Go back into the Trust Center and publish it directly using the button provided. Publishing your public key to the global address list will allow other internal users to send you encrypted messages without your having to first send them a signed message. If you intend to send encrypted messages to external recipients, they won't have access to your global address list. In this instance, you'll need to go ahead and send them a signed message directly so that they'll have a copy of your public key to use. Once you've sent them a signed message, they can open it, verify that your message was signed by you, and then go ahead and add you as a contact to their contact list. Doing so will save your signed public key to their contact list. This allows Outlook to send you encrypted messages from this recipient. Additionally, any users attempting to communicate using encrypted messages should also send you a copy of their signed certificate. This way, you'll have their public key so that you can send them encrypted messages as well. Notice the lock on any messages you receive that are encrypted. This is a quick way to ensure that a message is in fact encrypted. Once you've received your external recipient's signed message, you can then reply with an encrypted message of your own. Feel free to sign or not sign this message. Either way, the encryption will succeed as long as the certificates are valid. In this instance, we're testing a message to a user who has published their public key to the global address list. You'll notice we did not have to save them to a contact. We are just emailing them directly and attempting to encrypt without having first received any signed message. In this instance, it succeeds because we obtained their public key directly from the GAL. In order to send and receive encrypted messages from our iOS device, we will need to send a copy of our private key to this device for installation. Once we receive this email, we open up the attachment, the private key, and install it. We head over to the settings, and we'll see a new profile installation waiting for us there. From there, we run through the basic installation commands until the certificate is installed. Please remember to include any passwords that you might have set on this private key. Heading into the advanced section of our password and count settings for our particular email profile on our iOS device, we will locate the MIME section where we can disable the automatic encrypting and signing of messages. This will allow us to encrypt messages manually without sending a signed or encrypted message to every single recipient that we communicate with. Next, we'll receive a signed message from our external user and install it on our iOS device. Once installed, we'll be able to send this user encrypted message from our iOS device. Since we've already installed our private key, we will also be able to read any encrypted messages sent to us by this user. Once we've installed the public key for this user on this device, we can then send this user encrypted messages. The lock displayed in the upper right-hand corner will indicate that you are attempting to lock any messages you're sending. And at this point, you should be able to send and receive encrypted messages to those people internally and externally that you choose from both Outlook and the iOS device using the native Mail client.